52, and not about the daughters. I have that option. And you know that. So, in proximity to where you're located now, you also are aware that there is a facility that is presumably in charge of addressing matters connected to biological chemical weapons for the United States. You need to secure that facility and immediately provide an inventory, cross-referencing any illicit acquisition, procurement, or distribution involving the blood bank specifically registered to the Department of Defense, ostensibly to prevent against a biological attack. I have two options. That's the first. The second option is you already know that there is a clear and convincing case. The evidence has already been established. There's been nearly 2 years of accumulation of evidence and verification. I will go ahead and run down what I have available at the moment, and that has already been historically proven and has been able to accrue in a manner that justifies what will come after. There was an announcement made public that I had in connection with another company that had been involved with, among other things, competitions involving robotics for young people in 3 cities within the United States around the same time. There was significantly questionable activity concerning the roles specifically of minors, not just from the United States, but also other countries. And in the course of that, there was also illicit activity that happened in connection with competitive bidding on a contract for an item that was procured with illicit R&D in mind. You already know to whom the contract was awarded, and when the contract award came in, it was to be identified with a new facility to be located in Texas. In addition, there has apparently recently been announced within the last 2 months an expansion of a pre-existing facility in Texarkana associated with one of those companies, you know, the one of concern. There's also been significant manipulation of material factors in the lives of people in the Northwest District of the state of Texas. Specifically, there was a discussion and there was a series of events that occurred last year where the community determined that they were going to be spending this time renegotiating rates around water access. In the meantime, at least 3 municipalities of concern engaged in capital improvement projects that involved bond issues prior to the announcement of COVID-19. But since the announcement of COVID-19, there has been fraud involving those bond issues and interference in those public works, while there has been an illicit and illegal bond issuance in Dallas that has been proven now twice within less than 3 months that has national security implications. Additionally, it would seem that the Department of Justice took it upon itself to take what was actually a national security incident and evaluate it from the perspective of antitrust and allowed for a merger to go through that was unconscionable and unacceptable. Not only that, my understanding is that a diversion in another country, including a country where the primary point of reference is located, is being engaged in order to illegally expropriate the human capital of an individual in order to engage him in the processes of telemedication regimes that also constitute biological weaponry. Understand the country he comes from has been penalized and sanctioned in the last 10 years, presumably because they did not address their concerns or issues regarding their biological weapons stockpiles. And the fact that he was taken outside of the country to a country that is connected to what you already know from Utah needs to be considered according, and also has to be put into the context of understanding that the President of the United States has engaged in questionable activities with placing primary interest on this company specifically, and that this company in its merger has now 5 manufacturing facilities, 4 of which I personally have evidence have been engaged in illicit activities, including 1 which has located within a domestic violence shelter that has already been proven to have been involved with processes of human test subject experimentation specific to Syria and interference in matters connected to Syria and the areas surrounding there. And apparently also has a very important production facility that happens to be located in the city, which is the capital of a state within the United States that has had significant misrepresentation of its perils connected to the engagement of directed energy weapons. All of these facilities need to be shut down and decommissioned within the next 48 hours. You have the means by which to do so, insofar as there needed to be an acknowledgement of the justification and credibility in order to pull this off. You already know who has it. Now, if you're going to continue with the status quo and you're going to allow for what's already been unfolding to continue, then understand that whatever justified these reissues has a time frame. And by the end of business day tomorrow, if you don't commit, that says something about who you really are. Because I'm committing now. It is 1:53 p.m., August 26, 2020. You know what level it's at.